for Hugh Freeze, who's done a good job now in year 2 here, instantly bringing momentum to this program. His recruiting is superb, but this week so concerned with the lack of depth due to injuries. He said defensively this is a different kind of challenge for these players who will look around and realize who's not here. LSU won the toss, defers. Ole Miss is set to receive.
Yes, this is going to be one of those games for Ole Miss that they cannot afford to waste any scoring opportunity that they get. When they have the chance, they've got to turn it into points every turn they get tonight.
LSU's James Hairston has 33 touchbacks on 52 pickoffs this year. So he'll get the night started. Walton and Moore will hope to get a chance for a return. And you can tack on another touchback to Hairston's line. The impact players are brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, it starts with Dante Moncrief, the senior wide receiver, Evan Ingram. This is going to be a pass-happy offense here tonight. And Danielle Hunter, the defensive end, this is a star in the making, along with Anthony Johnson on the inside, who's had himself a superb year. But Danielle Hunter, that guy, he's got something special on him.
Jalen Walton starts at running back with Jeff Scott, one of those injured players. And here's Wallace, as that was Freak Johnson getting up and deflecting that. Number 90, the defensive tackle. Bo Wallace, his second year as the starter, struggled a little bit during the 3-game losing stretch. The recent emphasis has been on trying to follow the game plan, not trying to be the one-man star. Last week, he had 3 touchdown tosses against A&M. Keep it on the ground with Walton. And he breaks through the initial would-be tackle, and then Barrow was able to get to him.
Well, this offense is going to go as Bo Wallace goes. He needs to play. I think he needs to play the best game he's played in his Ole Miss career. This is an outstanding defense, and he's the key. That arm of his has got to be accurate here tonight.
3rd and 8. 3 receivers to the top, 1 to the near side for Wallace. And trying to go up high was Dante Moncrief. Wasn't able to get it as he was covered by Tre'Davious White.
Every opportunity that Ole Miss has to move the chains, they have to take advantage of. That was one that escaped them.
There's Odell Beckham Jr., one of the best specialist return men in college football, as Tyler Campbell, very capable punter, on for Ole Miss. And this is a low line drive that bounces a bit short and then does take a Rebels roll, as it does so all the way down just inside the 20-yard line. So Zach Mettenberger and that LSU offense out there. The impact players brought to you by Chick-fil-A with this side of the matchup now.
Well, I would expect to see a heavy dose of Jeremy Hill. Just a sophomore, continues to get better. Odell Beckham, we already talked about him. He's a big play waiting to happen. Connor and Pruitt in the secondary, they are going to be extremely busy. They're going to have to be busy in the run game and in the pass game, and that's a tough job to have.
High formation. Remember, no J.C. Copeland, their usual starting fullback, who suffered a concussion on Thursday this week. That was reported just before kickoff tonight. Here's Jeremy Hill, and that's exactly, he lost the ball at the end there, as he was dragging a defender, and there's a fight for the ball. He was trying to get extra yardage, and it will be 2nd down and LSU's ball. And Tony Connor looked like he was involved defensively there.
Well, you're going to be saying Tony Connor's name an awful lot. You see Pruitt right there, number 25 in the middle of it. Connor was right in the middle of it and forced that fumble, but here we go to 2nd down.
Jeremy Hill hasn't lost a fumble in 241 rush attempts. 2nd and 3. And this is right at the line to make that time. What a year it's been for this guy, the senior quarterback Zach Mettenberger. This is 21st straight start Longest streak for an LSU quarterback in 15 years, and many saying he's the most improved quarterback in all of college football.
3rd and short, Tess.
Here's 235 pounds of Jeremy Hill with a bit of speed as he goes for 5 yards there, tackled by Mike Mary.
You know, one of the things when you watch this LSU offense, if you watch their fullback, he pretty much takes you to the ball. This is an inside the tackle running team. I believe they lead the FBS inside the tackles on average per carry. But Copeland out, Connor Neighbors in, number 43. Yeah, you can see.
That's an astounding number.
Unbelievable.
9.2 yards between the tackles per carry. Mettenberger connects on his first pass of the night into who else but Odell Beckham Jr. That's a first down for the Tigers.
That's a tough position for Charles Sawyer. They're putting him out there one-on-one with Odell Beckham Jr. You heard me say this at the start of this thing, Tess. I believe Odell Beckham Jr. is the most exciting and dynamic wide receiver in all of college football. When he has the ball in his hands, he's a threat to score every time.
Tough matchup for this undermanned Ole Miss defense tonight. As Charles Sawyer and Derek Jones are starting at cornerback. Jones, his first start, he's a true freshman. And they're going to use a timeout on their opening drive. We'll take a quick one with them.
I'm Anywhere, brought to you by Vizio.
Ole Miss trying to replace so many significant defensive players tonight, like their starting defensive end, C.J. Johnson, and the #1 recruit in the country from last year's signing class, Robert Condici. There's C.J. Johnson, who had season-ending surgery on his right foot recently. Hilliard now. Good lead block and stiff arm as Hilliard has another first down. Let's check in with Wendy Nix. Wendy?
Joe Tess, thank you. When last we left you in this Dr. Pepper 10 conference update, Auburn is beating Texas A&M 38-34. Johnny Manziel, injured earlier in this game, looks okay right there. Scrambles in 41-38 A&M.
It was Ole Miss who took Texas A&M to the limit last week right here, 41-38. The Aggies pulled that one out. Hilliard getting a little more work this time on the left side to the 39-yard line.
Tess, you know, so much is talked about LSU's offense, and that leads you to Mettenberger. But really what they are is they're a run-based team. They want to pound you. And it looks to me right now that they want to break Ole Miss's spirit. Ole Miss knows they're down. They know they're going to have a tough time up front. And so it looks like Cam Cameron saying, we're just going to pound you into submission.
Stay on the ground, and this time that defensive front does their job. Meeting Hilliard at the line of scrimmage was Brian Bennett, number 95, who's starting in place of C.J. Johnson for defensive coordinator Dave Womack.
Yeah, and Isaac Gross also in the middle there. Now, Dave Womack is in a precarious position. He sets up 3rd and long, which is what he wanted to get him at. But now he's got to pick his poison because they can still run the football, and he has those 2 dangerous receivers on the outside. They're going to spread them right now, go with 4 wide, and that changes the numbers inside of the box.
Beckham and Landry are both to the top of your screen here on 3rd and 6. They bring 4 against Mettenberger. They're able to get to him. That was Le'Veon Hooks.
That's a big-time play by Hooks, Tess. As he rolled the dice, Dave Womack decided to play coverage outside and rush with only 4. And because of Hooks' effort, he's able to get there. If he can get pressure with 4 guys like he sees inside, that's called a tackle, and then an exit by the defensive end. If he can get pressure from the Land Sharks inside, that's a great sign for them defensively.
Only their 7th sack of the season.
Number 28, Morgan Neat.
Jamie Keene will come on to punt away. Corvick Neat will just line up at the 10-yard line. And that bounced at the 15 and then takes a beautiful LSU roll inside the 10, going out at the 6. So Levon Hooks tried to play him at a little tight end reach with Barry Brunetti at quarterback, as the run up the middle by Mathers goes for maybe a yard there. Barry Brunetti's been getting a little more time recently, man.
And he brings a little bit more to the table, Test, particularly with his legs, but they're not afraid for him with his arm. He can throw the football. He's been getting better and better each and every week. Bo Wallace, he hasn't had it the last few weeks. They're hoping maybe Brunetti can bring that.
Brunetti's the second leading rusher on the team. Here's 2nd and 9. Going to pass from his own end zone. And he's going to take a shot downfield. And it's incomplete as Moncrief had to turn to the outside just to get a hand on it. He was covered by White.
Nice job of pressure coming from the inside. That's Rasco, and now this is the end. Now, when you're Dante Moncrief, you've got to be able to go make that play. Anytime you get that opportunity, he's going to have to make a play.
Platooning quarterbacks here on plays now as Bo Wallace comes in for a 3rd and 9. Jalen Walton in the backfield with Wallace. And he picked up the pressure as Wallace tries to get free. And he didn't have a chance trying to reach for that with Jalen Mills chasing him down. Walton came in at running back and had a really nice block just to free Wallace to extend that play.
Now, that's just in protection. Now, Bo Wallace has to have his eyes up, and what he saw, however, was good coverage. The one advantage that this LSU defense has is they can match up man-to-man. They have the personnel to be able to do it. This is a very fast defense.
Campbell back at his own goal line with the dangerous Beckham set to return. And it is not a good punt. And Beckham will field it at the 40 and then reverse course. And he has blockers in front. And a good return by Odell Beckham Jr.
We got a rebel down.
We'll take a short break as the medical staff tends to the injured Ole Miss player. LSU on offense when we return. Starting at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. I wish I did last Sunday because I made some bad coaching decisions there, but that's the way to get your NFL Sunday started. 21-yard punt return by Beckham Jr. It was John Youngblood, the injured Ole Miss player, who was able to get up and trot off the field. Play action now, Mettenberger. He's going to launch it downfield for Beckham Jr. And that ball is intercepted. That is Chief Brown coming up with the big play.
Tess, he tracked that ball the whole way. Mettenberger was going to go for broke on the first big play. You're going to see him up in the top of your screen. See him up here. His eyes are back inside, and he's tracking it the whole way. He's playing free safety. That's an outstanding job by Chief Brown of reading Mettenberger's eyes, having the discipline to stay in the hole, and then making the break. That's really good defense.
Only the 3rd interception by Mettenberger this year. Let's see how the Ole Miss offense can look now as a flag came in there. Remember, they opened up the game with 2 3-and-outs.
16 on the still first down.
Apologize for the audio issues with SEC referee David Smith.
First and 15 from the 15.
Chief Brown, who won the award as the most improved player in spring football this year. Carrying that through right here to this regular season. Here's 1st and 15, and Wallace will do this every so often, and this time it pays off with a good run out just past the 26-yard line, tackled by Lamine Barrow.
Tess, that was a great decision by Bo Wallace, because they were going to have that little fly sweep action, and they pulled off on it right away. It would have been a tackle for no loss, or a loss, or no gain rather, or a loss. Instead, he picks it up and sets up 2nd and short.
Second and 3, has plenty of time, and now has the first down with Jamez Logan.
They have the personnel to spread this defense and win. Even though LSU can match up with them, they can win with the personnel they have. They've got a lot of talent in that receiving corps.
They go empty set here with 5 wide. And a little up-tempo before freezing at the line. Another quick strike, and once again he's able to find Logan.
Keep in mind, they're not always going man-to-man. There's a lot of zone. That's what they're playing right now. But when push comes to shove, John Chavis, the defensive coordinator for LSU, he'll match them up. Right now, they're just kind of sitting back. You can see kind of the 2 shell. Now they're lined up a little tighter. See what they do. Still a zone.
And they swing it this time to Attaboy Joe, who will be marked down about a yard short.
Tess, that guy right there, Attaboy Joe, nobody's really talked about him. He is extremely smooth and gifted.
He's the other true freshman next to a guy who's going to be a freshman All-America in Treadwell.
That guy, he's pretty darn good.
Starting to get more and more playing time, showing up well. 3rd and 1 now. And a quarterback sneak as they stayed empty, and then he walked up to the line and took the quick snap and just went ahead.
And Tess, what happened was LSU wasn't quite ready. So they were talking back on the outside when he snapped that ball and got up inside.
Keeping Zach Mettenberger in that LSU offense off the field. Mettenberger threw 3rd interception of his season moments ago. Tried the other side this time to Attaboy Joe, but he just turned and couldn't control it.
That's one of those opportunities I'm talking about, Tess. Bo Wallace, that was too much mustard on that pass. Give your receiver a chance to make a play. He doesn't have, on that throw, he's got to throw it in front of him and let him run to the ball so he's going forward. That time he throws it to the back shoulder, turns him around. You got to give your guys a shot.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. That was thrown to the inside of Quincy Attaboy Joe. DJ Welter was covering him. 3rd and 10 now. And on 3rd and 10, he's able to convert, finding Jamez Logan.
Vince Sanders on the outside did a nice job of clearing. And Attaboy Joe just filled the void to the outside. Nice design.
And whistles come in before the play with Mathers running to the near side could get off and going.
It's interesting, Tess. If you we're having a little bit of a difficulty with his mic, but if you track coaches, and what you really start to develop is tendencies of coaching staffs. And most coaching staffs, when they get to this point of the field, from about the 35 on in, that's blitz time. They want to put a little pressure on him. That time they got inside, and it's exactly what they did. They came with pressure. Here it comes again.
Play action. That was deflected at the line of scrimmage as Wallace was trying to pass right over the middle.
Second down and 15.
If you're just joining us, Joe Tessitore, Matt Millen, Maria Taylor, scoreless here at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Zach Mettenberger, the LSU quarterback, threw an interception moments ago, and now a long sustained 9-play drive by Ole Miss. Second and 15. And this is complete right back at the original line of scrimmage to Ingram. Here's Wendy Nix with an update. Wendy?
Tess, thank you. We have a final from College Station in our Dr. Pepper 10 conference update. Auburn, Texas A&M. Here's Trey Mason. That gives the Tigers the lead, makes it 45-41. Johnny Manziel doing all he can. Under pressure here. Final Aggie possession. D Ford with the sack. And that's all she wrote. Texas A&M falls to Auburn. Tess?
Thanks, Wendy. What a job by Gus Malzahn. Your number one there on the Plains. And here's a first down for Ole Miss. Down to the 21-yard line goes Vince Sanders.
That's a great job by Bo Wallace.
So now the SEC West as it stands right now. And oh, how different things look to see 2 losses in the column for Texas A&M.
That's what you don't see right there is Auburn has gotten better and better and better as the season's gone on. They're playing their best football right now.
First down pass. This one's complete, and turning against the grain was Laquan Treadwell. This is an emerging star in college football, just a true freshman, 6'3", strong at 215 pounds. He was the #1 receiver recruit in the country last year.
Yeah, and he's getting a lot of help inside as Bo Wallace is enjoying a nice pocket.
Here goes Treadwell, blockers in front, and it'll be first and goal, Ole Miss.
You know,
remember the LSU defense recently, Matt. They have been very stout. Last 6 quarters, they haven't given up a touchdown. Only the field goals in the past game and a half. And they're able to stop Mathers on the inside there. That was Daniil Hunter.
The strength of this Ole Miss offense is clearly their receiving corps. And so they have to play to their strength. So their running game is secondary. Even when Jeff Scott's in, the running game is secondary. That's why Bo Wallace is the whole key to this thing. Moncrief and Treadwell are the guys that are really the machines, but they're inside receivers with Ingram. That guy can move the chains.
Second and goal. Oh, that ball came free on the exchange between Wallace and Mathers, and Wallace was quick to get on it.
I like the play call. I don't like the execution.
Was Wallace going to pull that and run option to the near side?
Yeah, that's exactly what was going to happen. He was reading that defensive end who bit, and he was going to try to get to that outside.
He was reading Daniil Hunter, and then he was thinking he could get to the edge there, but instead it makes for a 3rd and goal. And here's Wallace sprinting. Tried to tiptoe and turn, and now can he cut against the grain? He's backed all the way up towards the 10-yard line. Just tried too much of it as Quan Alexander, the speedy linebacker, finally tracked him down. So they will be kicking a field goal attempt here.
That's one thing you're not going to do to this LSU defense is beat him with speed to the outside. So when you're Bo Wallace and you get to the edge, you need to choke it down and get your eyes downfield because you're not going to beat anybody to the outside.
Andrew Ritter has not missed inside of 40 this year. 28-yard attempt for the senior place kicker. So they get the interception to Mettenberger and turn it in.
Eyeballed him the whole way. Not a good job of getting him off. They're going to have those kinds of big plays all night long here. It's Robert Kimdichie.
Yeah, doing it without him. The 300-pound true freshman who injured his hamstring last week trying to chase Johnny Manziel. And here's Odell Beckham Jr. as he stiff arms his way out to the 23-yard line. Maria?
Yeah, guys, I was in the defensive huddle, and Chris Kiffin was telling his D-line that Mettenberger's a great quarterback, but he will throw us more balls if we continue to pressure him. So he's really challenging that D-line. And, guys, I know that the defense is outmanned or undermanned, but they seem to not have that attitude at all on the sideline. Very excited, a lot of energy, and they're talking to each other about the next play.
Thanks, Maria. You know, Hugh Freeze, in picking up on Maria's point, said, listen, our guys will fight. That's not the problem. We will fight defensively. And we've seen a little fight out of them so far tonight against LSU. And that was batted down. That's just a good effort play that time by Tony Connor. Now, this is another one of these young studs to watch, Matt.
Yeah, and this kid might have the best instincts of any young defender that I've seen, maybe ever. Yes, we watched him from his first game on. He has just an innate feel. He's a ball magnet. He knows how to play with angles. He uses the field to his advantage. This kid is rare. He'll be here 3 years because he's got it.
How about his very first play in college football? An interception against Vanderbilt in a primetime game. 2nd and 10. Mettenberger with time and with a strike to Odell Beckham Jr. He just comes back for the ball and makes it look effortless.
Yeah, he does a great job of coming back to the ball. And when he does, he'll get underneath the defender. Then I want you to watch to see how fast he gains ground. Watch him come back to the ball, now gain ground. He's right up the field. And, of course, Connor's the guy who finishes him off.
Here's Hilliard. And he's able to move it just inside the 45-yard line of Ole Miss. He was chopped down by Chief Brown.
We talked a lot about Jeremy Hill, but this Kenny Hilliard, he's a big guy too. He runs with power. When I say
233.
Yeah, when you say downhill, those two guys, they're the epitome of downhill.
They're going to stick with that I formation, Hilliard. And there was motion on the right side of the line.
85. Yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Dylan Gordon is their inline blocking tight end. See the ball control by Ole Miss. You know, up-tempo team, but on a night like this where they don't want their defense to feel strained, that last drive you saw them just moving the chains, taking it in pieces is probably more what they're looking for here.
Came with the blitz.
And they got to him again. How about a sack to close out a first quarter? That was just the way Ole Miss would have scripted it. Cameron Wiggum down 3 defensive ends. Ain't no problem when you're just going to hustle to the ball. More from Oxford to come your way. Taylor as you're watching the SEC on ESPN. LSU Ole Miss's most historic rivalry. Older generation, they view LSU as the biggest rival because of what this game has meant through the years and the history attached to it. And they're enjoying looking up at that scoreboard after one quarter. Undermanned with all the injuries on defense and shutting down the Tigers offense for now. 3rd and 17. Here's Mettenberger. Look at the time he has. And he gives it to McGee out of the backfield, who's going to be a good 3 yards short.
Dave Womack, that's nice. That's a nice job of defense. What he did was he rushed 3 tests, and he dropped 8. Now, not only did he drop 8, he had them setting at about 5 yards from the first down marker, let everything underneath go. And so as soon as he threw it back underneath, you just converge to the tackle, and they set up a 4th down. That is well done.
So Jamie Keane, the Australian native, back out to punt again for LSU. And this will be marked at the 17. We'll take a break. Ole Miss up 3-0. A visit with one of the all-time legends.
I think the first thing I wanted to know was how many people was going to be there. If it was just going to be 4 or 5, I thought that'd be a little too much scrutiny. But they said between 12 and 18, and I'm honored to be asked. And I thought it was, the people that I'm serving with, that I'm on there with, are high integrity people, and we're going to have fun doing this, and we're going to try to do a good job.
As you look at the college football landscape, what are some of the biggest criteria that stick out in your mind that should go into choosing the top 4 teams in the nation for a playoff?
Well, complete. We were doing a conference call the other day, and a lot of things people forget about, and naturally Coach Tom Osborne mentioned it'll be special teams also. And, a lot of people, we got a lot of great offense going on in pro football today, in college football today. Maybe not quite as much defense in years past, but it'll be, a complete team, and we'll do our best to identify the top 4 teams.
Well, it's great that you get to come to a college game, but 2 big pro football games coming up. One son returning back to the team that he originally played for, and another looking for his first win on Monday Night Football. What is some of the fatherly advice that you've given both of them as they look forward to these games?
Well, Peyton, this is it's kind of hard for him going back there, but he's got to play, and he's got his commitment to his team. We're this year seeing the high and the low, and with the Giants, I just kind of tell Eli to, keep fighting, keep sowing wood, and something good will happen.
Thanks again for joining us. Enjoy the game.
A nice visit with Archie Manning, one of the greatest college football players of all time, and what he did here at Ole Miss. And Archie and his wife Olivia, as a flag was down there at the end of the play, were just honored at halftime here with some fundraising efforts. And there are the 2 Manning brothers with a tale of 2 seasons, Matt.
Yeah, and 2 different types of teams that they're on right now. The biggest thing, you look at those sacks, and Archie well knows this because he was on some teams down in New Orleans who were just brutal in the offensive line. After the play, a personal foul against LSU.
And sportsmanlike there. They will march it forward. That was on Jalen Mills, considered LSU's best cornerback. Jawing it up with the freshman tight end, Evan Ingram.
Can't do that. Ingram did a nice job of just talking, and he bit the cheese and pushed him. You can't do it.
Wallace now. And he goes downfield, and he was able to find Moncrief. That was a good strike thrown by Bo Wallace.
And that was a nice job of Moncrief coming back to help his quarterback, and now they're going to go with the hurry up. Keep the same personnel groups on. Use it to your advantage.
16-yard reception by Moncrief.
Yeah, he's the guy that he drives this machine. When he gets rolling, that opens a lot of things up to the inside.
Mathers, as he spins his way to the 36-yard line. He's tackled by Jordan Allen.
Mathers is a little bigger guy than what you see with Jeff Scott or Jalen Walton. Jeff Scott, of course, is hurt, but he's a little more powerful between the tackles, not quite as quick to the edge.
Oh, he threw it behind him, and Sanders came up with it. Sanders was shielded by the defensive back. Wallace led just past him, and the big play has Ole Miss in business.
Working on Pryor out. No, that's White on the outside. Now that's a phenomenal. It looked like White guessed to the outside. Wallace threw it back inside, and Sanders comes up with a big play, 1st and goal.
That was just brilliant as Sanders goes for 33 yards, and now Barry Brunetti comes in at quarterback. This is something you will see Ole Miss do often here down inside the 5. And here's Brunetti looking to pass. And that's a touchdown, Rebels. Nick Parker right in the corner next to the pylon.
Watch how he chokes it down as he gets closer to the sideline. Gains control. That's a perfect strike. Parker right on the money. He slows down. Great field awareness on both players. And the result, is 6.
Ritter gets it through the first touchdown in 7 quarters against this LSU defense. Been a funny day in college football. And Ole Miss has got a 10-point lead as both quarterbacks celebrate.
The charts.
More than what they say it is. And tonight it is a night when the Ole Miss fans are celebrating. There is Nick Parker, who just had his first career catch, and it goes for a touchdown to put the Rebels up 10-0 on top of number 6 LSU. Remember, LSU, the highest ranked among the one-loss teams, a team that is very much alive for everything that's on their checklist, controlling their fate in the SEC. Here's Odell Beckham Jr., and he has taken down great special teams coverage as he only makes it to the 11-yard line, Wendy Nix. How about these Rebels?
How about those Rebels? A sea of red and more red here. Arkansas on the road at Alabama. Kenyon Drake to make it a 2-score game. It's now 14-0 Alabama over Arkansas on ESPN, and a couple of upsets in the SEC. 45-41. Auburn beats Texas A&M, and Tennessee taking care of South Carolina 23-21. Coming up tonight at Death Valley, South Carolina's cross-state rival Clemson hosting Florida State on ABC.
Thank you, Wendy, for keeping us up to date on such a busy day. Here's Jeremy Hill now. And Hill is taken down after a gain of about 3 yards that time by Chief Brown, who had the interception earlier.
Okay, so you're the favorite team. You're on the road. You're down by 10. What do you do? Well, if you're Cam Cameron, you go back to this guy. You go back and you start pounding the football with Jeremy Hill. Let your offensive line use its size advantage against a smaller defensive front and start running down that clock and eating up first downs.
They stay with Hill on 2nd and 6, and he wasn't even touched until he was about 5 yards downfield, as based on that spot, LSU should be moving the chains here.
There's Cam, and he's been credited with a lot with Mettenberger, but Cam's been around the block a few times. He knows when you get in these situations, the best way to break the spirit of a defense is to run it down their throats.
Of course, former head coach in the NFL, college head coach, and a longtime great friend of Les Miles. I'm very happy to be together here. And first down after the good hard running by Jeremy Hill. Now Kenny Hilliard will be dotting the I formation. And here is Hilliard. And Hilliard gets about 2 yards that time, as Channing Ward was quick to get to him.
Haven't seen Jarvis Landry yet.
Alfred Blue now. On 2nd and 8, he was met right at the line of scrimmage that time. That was good work by Denzel Kimdichie.
Coming off of an injury, still not 100% himself, but what he has is he's an excellent reader test. He sees things better than he was a year ago. He's bigger than he was a year ago, and it sets up a big early 3rd down.
3rd and 6. Mettenberger looking over his options and finding Travis Dixon. That's a 1st down, LSU out to the 48-yard line.
Nice job of protection. Mettenberger's got lots of time to be able to throw. When you're playing zones, there are lots of holes. You just need the time to find them.
Terrence McGee now into the game, as we've seen Hill and Hilliard, and Blue, and now Terrence McGee.
That's Elliott Porter,
starting center for LSU.
Keep in mind, Lyle Collins earlier was hurt. He came back. Now Porter down.
So with Elliott Porter down, medical staff will pay attention to him, and we'll take a short break. Stay with us. Presented by 5 Hour Energy. 5 races to go. The chase for the Sprint Cup. Coverage will begin Sunday at 1 Eastern on ESPN. 2nd and 5 now for the Tigers. The new center is Ethan Posick. Kenny Hilliard on 2nd and 5 with ease all the way down to the 37-yard line. So Posick at center as Elliott Porter left injured moments ago. Ole Miss defense missing 3 defensive ends due to injury. Trying to hold their ground against the rushing attack of LSU. And Hilliard was tripped up at the line of scrimmage by Isaac Gross. And Gross himself has been dealing with a shoulder injury this week, but he's given it a go. They need everybody they can get out there in a red Rebels jersey.
And now Porter comes back in.
Second and 10, Hilliard again. And he drives his legs for a gain of about 9.
He's going to sit up 3rd and short. So what's going on right now, they're balanced in the front. And so it's about the number count. How many guys you have inside the box. And if you look at it from an offensive point of view, you split it right down the center. And if it's 7-man front, you run to the 3 instead of the 4 side.
Third and 2.
They're daring him to throw the football. And he did.
And it's Beckham who slips the first man and stiff arms his way down near the 20-yard line for a first down. It was Sawyer who tried to come up and get Odell Beckham Jr., but the All-America candidate was just too much.
Look at this, Tess. You got 10 guys inside. They're daring him to take this shot outside. And that's Odell Beckham Jr. That's a heck of a dare now, because if he makes you miss, that's 6 quick. Good read by Mettenberger.
Play action now. Mettenberger picked off again. That's Cody Pruitt with his 3rd of the year.
Under heavy pressure from our favorite freshman safety, Tony Connor. And Pruitt read his eyes again. The second mistake that Mettenberger's made in eyeballing the middle of the field. Pruitt just read his eyes the whole time. And there's pressure. Watch Connor come off the edge. That's a nice job. Watch his eyes. His eyes are straight down the middle of the field. Pruitt eyeballs him the whole way, and it gives it away for 6. An interception, rather.
Zach Mettenberger came in tonight having only thrown 2 interceptions on the season. He's thrown 2 interceptions in this half, both of them in the end zone. And Walton now with a gain of about 3.
A little surprised at Mettenberger there with, as well as he's played this year, those 2 picks are on him. His eyeballs were strictly down the middle of the field. The safeties read him all the way.
Bo Wallace just looks his running back's way, and Walton tried to get back to that line of scrimmage, but Barrow was waiting on him, and that Ole Miss defense, boy, have they stepped up. Told you pregame about all the injuries, and Hugh Freeze saying he worries about what they may be thinking, looking around, thinking about who's not with them, who's not lining up out in that field. Well, I'm getting a sense of what they were thinking. They're here to play.
Yeah, they're a little pliable tonight. They have been but they have not broken. They've come up with big plays when they've needed to.
2 picks in the end zone against Mettenberger. 3rd and 7 now. Wallace slings it to the near side. And this is a first down by Moncrief and a lot more.
They're going to go with the hurry up. But one thing I'll tell you about the Ole Miss Rebels, this receiving corps is very talented catching the ball and blocking for each other. They do as good a job as any receiving corps I've seen blocking.
25-yard reception by Dante Moncrief. He had 161 yards last year against LSU. Walton is dragged down there just short of midfield by Ego Ferguson.
Ego Ferguson's a big man on the inside. He and Anthony Johnson are the mainstays in the middle. They need both those guys inside to secure the middle to make this defense work.
2nd and 8. Wallace takes a shot for Moncrief again. And he was looking for a flag, but he doesn't get one with the coverage from Mills.
That's one of the guys that we've not spoken about, but I'm telling you is as good as any lineman I've seen. He's just a freshman. It's Laramie Tunsil. That guy is freakishly athletic. He's a big man. He's a great kid. He's a great kid. And he's one of those guys that no task is too big for him. The lights aren't too bright. You can put anybody you want over him, and he responds. He'll be in an NFL city near you in just a few years.
Yet to give up a sack this year, a true freshman playing left tackle in the SEC. As you see, that play clock was counting down, and Ole Miss will use their first timeout of this for 41 points a game and 465 yards a game. But Ole Miss pitching a shutout here in the first half, as Zach Mettenberger has thrown a couple interceptions. Bo Wallace had 8 straight completions just before that last incompletion. Now he could use a downfield strike here on 3rd and 9.
Showing pressure.
They bring a little off the edge, and he ran right into his own lineman that time. So it'll be 4th down, as Anthony Johnson was disrupting things in the middle.
This is going to be a quarterback draw, and they came with their own stunt to the inside, but he ran right smack into his own guy, McCray. Emmanuel McCray, the tackle turned guard.
Now, you were talking about Laramie Tunsil earlier. Emmanuel McCray, a team captain who gave way to Tunsil and said, hey, listen, he's good enough, guys. He'll play left tackle. I'm good with the circumstances. He moved over to left guard. Of course, Aaron Morris is out for the year, so they had to shuffle things along that line. And Odell Beckham Jr. with the fair catch inside the 15. Can Zach Mettenberger bounce back? Only 5 completions so far tonight, 2 to the other team. LSU team, the highest one-loss team in the rankings. Number 6 in the country, trying to find their gear here against the Rebs. Mettenberger. As out of the backfield is Connor Neighbors. He's seeing a little more playing time tonight as J.C. Copeland, the starting fullback, suffered a concussion Thursday. It was an accident away from the field, so he didn't even make the trip. Look at that. Last time shut out in the first half. You got to go all the way back to that BCS title game at the end of the 2011 season. And who would think that this Rebels defense, they have talent on defense, but you understand the injuries. They're missing starting defensive ends, a starting linebacker, a starting cornerback. They have a true freshman starting at the other cornerback because another quarterback is suspended. As undermanned as they've been, and yet they have stepped up against LSU.
Well, they're not giving up big plays, and they're just kind of bleeding this offense slow but sure.
Mettenberger now able to find Jarvis Landry, and that is his first catch of the night. Jarvis Landry so talented. Of course, Odell Beckham Jr. in recent weeks has been in the spotlight, but Landry's the other half of what is arguably the best pair of receivers in college football.
They are extremely talented. And so what Mettenberger's going to have to do when you're playing this style defense is be patient. The #1 killer against these types of things is trying to get it all at one time. Take what they give you, be patient, it'll work out.
Like handing the ball to that man, Jeremy Hill. He came in second in the SEC in rushing yards per game, just under 120 yards per game for Jeremy Hill he's averaging this year.
And so for Dave Womack, if you're the defensive coordinator, all you're doing is say, look, let's just be patient ourselves. Eventually what happens is offenses, they'll try to score quick, and that's when we'll get them. Twice they've been down inside, and they've come away with 2 picks.
Both times Mettenberger taking shots into the end zone. 2nd and 4, he's going to launch it again. And again it's picked off. This time it's Charles Sawyer. Can you believe this storyline of Zach Mettenberger in the first half?
He got impatient. He tried to get it all at one time. And Sawyer had perfect coverage. Watch Sawyer. He's on the top shoulder. Plays it exactly where he has to be. And now track the ball. That's a fantastic job. They had undercut Odell Beckham with Tony Connor. And they kept Sawyer over the top. They were not going to be beat deep. Mettenberger got impatient. Tried to push it over the top. Another pick.
Zach Mettenberger has thrown more interceptions in this first half than he has the whole season. And now Laquan Treadwell. And a first down for Ole Miss.
You know, I really like Laquan Treadwell. I mean, he's easy to like, don't get me wrong. You and I both, we were on the field before the game, and you look at him, he is a physical specimen. But what I love the most about him is he loves to compete. He loves the game of football and loves to compete.
And as good as he is as a receiver, a downfield blocker that provides for many of Ole Miss's big plays this season. You think of Jeff Scott, who's out of action, the leading rusher, but some of the longer runs he's had this year. Treadwell blocking downfield. Wallace, and going up and hauling it in is the other freshman, Evan Ingram.
Let's see, they had a freshman All-American in Ingram, Laramie Tunsil, Laquan Treadwell, Tony Connor. I mean, this is a phenomenal recruiting class. Nice job of protection, allowing him to scan the field. When he has that kind of time, Bo Wallace has been money.
Latavius Mathers, just a couple of yards. Zach Mettenberger can only watch on and hope that his defense comes up with a stop here before the half. Just 2 interceptions coming in, 3 in this first half alone.
Ole Miss needs points before the half. That would put an exclamation point on this first half.
And that was well defended by Tre'Davious White.
You see, Jamez Logan, the receiver, he needs to have a better block. And Laquan Treadwell reminded him of that after the play. One thing they've done really well is they've blocked extremely well for each other, 3rd and 10.
Kind of had the look of a trick play to me as that flag came in there, Mr. Millen.
Yeah,
absolutely. Have motion. And he backed up there with a lateral. Was Laquan Treadwell going to throw the ball on a night where some wacky things have been happening under the full moon of college football?
Wacky's good in college football. Don't you think so, Tess?
It has a way of following us, Millen.
Yeah, it really does. Wacky, yeah, Wacky's good. I'm all for Wacky.
It's all for, Hugh Freeze is all for it on a night where he's trying to pull a big-time upset against the #6 team in the country. As we are under a minute to go in a first half where Zach Mettenberger has handed the ball over to the Reds 3 times. Good job by Wallace getting away from the blitz. And now downfield, that ball is caught. How about that? Jordan Holder. Hotty toddy, gosh almighty.
Oh, man, that was all on Bo Wallace. There was a clean blitzer. Nobody picked him up. Wallace made a miss, and what a great job of finding Holder down the field.
I mean, everything's breaking Wallace's way. 23 there on a 3rd and 15. This time he goes down. Asking a little too much as Jalen Mills getting to Bo Wallace.
Good coverage on the other side.
Let's check in with
Tess.
Wendy Nix.
Tess, thank you so much. Coming up on the Outback Steakhouse halftime report, a pair of upsets in the ACC, a significant showdown in Death Valley, and a clash in the Pac-12. We'll show you how it all shakes out. Robert Smith and Todd McShay join me in just a minute at the half.
We're looking forward to it, Wendy. We've got to get caught up on everything that's been going on. That upset in the SEC. We were monitoring the things going on with Auburn and A&M. And now here we are in prime time with Ole Miss looking to close the door on a first half where their defense has come up big. Told you earlier, last time LSU was shut out in the first half, you got to go to the BCS game against Alabama a couple years ago. FaceTime Profile is brought to you by Edward Jones. Jordan Holder just had that big catch, Maria.
Scholarship during his 5th season as a walk-on, but he gave it up to his friend and former roommate Justin Bingham just because he knew that he was not going to be able to afford another fall in Oxford, guys, so he wanted to make sure that he'd be on the field again.
So he gave up his scholarship, a walk-on who earned a scholarship, and said, you know what, let me give it to that guy. Jordan Holder, the senior, his dad was a 2-time captain here at Ole Miss. That was incomplete as he was looking for Dante Moncrief, leaving 21 seconds on the clock. 1 timeout remaining for Ole Miss.
There's a mix-up there between
15.
He and Moncrief, because Moncrief was wide open. He found the hole in the zone, and Bo Wallace had anticipated him keeping coming, and Moncrief shut it down for some reason.
They could get about 7-8 more yards. They'll be in field goal range of Ritter. But instead, the Ole Miss LSU defensive front does their job as Mills was coming in again with that group.
Mills came off the edge, and you've got to see that as a quarterback. He's lined up in the slot, and they're going to come with a slot blitz. That is completely on Bo Wallace.
Kendall Beckwith also in there. But what a half. As Mettenberger's 3 interceptions, the storyline, career high in interceptions for Mettenberger. Here's Maria.
Coach, what do you believe has been the cause of Mettenberger's 3 interceptions?
Well, we need to be patient. You know, there's a lot of throws underneath that you know, we can move the ball on the ground, we can move the ball intermediate throws. We don't have to take the over the top. That's all.
What will be your main message to him as you get him back in the locker room to prepare for the second half?
Well, we're going to be the same team we've been. The one thing we're not going to do is we're going to take what the defense gives us. We're going to hit the check down. We're going to move the football, and you know, it's a 10-point game. Just settle down and play LSU football.
Thanks, Coach.
See you.
LSU scored 21 the 4th quarter last year against Ole Miss for a comeback win. They trailed by 10 here at the half. Let's join Wendy, Todd, and Robert back in the studio for the Outback Steakhouse halftime report.
Joe Tess, thank you, and we go
On that defensive front, somehow, some way, they solved Zach Mettenberger. 3 interceptions thrown by the LSU quarterback, who we were heralding, as many have, as the most improved player in college football this season. Not in that first half, Matt.
Yeah, no, but yes. I mean, he's still, all the improvements that we saw all season are still there. Now, what we didn't see was patience, and we talked about the patience. And let me show you exactly why there's patience. See, right here, they're trying to grab up here on the top side. They're trying to pull that defender up, and then they're trying to get Landry right through the middle, and you put that safety in a position. Well, that's just trying to get the whole thing at once. That's bad patience. Now here on the second one, or this was the third one, they're just playing center field. Again, they're not going to let Beckham to the middle of the field. I want you to see there's something else you have to be able to recognize. Both these corners are over top, but what Mettenberger's not seeing is that they are undercutting both Landry and Beckham. And when that happens, you've got to be patient and go to the single coverage guy. They're not going to let anybody get on top of the coverage. That's outstanding job of defense. Dave Womack's done a nice job, and you can see the numbers. Test, the points, they are what they are. Turnovers at the bottom, and the rush yard. They need to be patient with the rush game, and they need to be patient in the passing game, and then we'll see the Mettenberger that we've seen all season long.
Mettenberger, 7 completions, 3 interceptions, and Bo Wallace passed for 200 yards in that first. And from about 5 yards deep in the end zone is Odell Beckham Jr. And let's check in with Maria Taylor.
Well, guys, Hugh Freeze has nothing but praise for his defense. He says even though they're shorthanded, they're fighting. And the way that he explains those 3 interceptions, that his kids are just doing a good job of staying on top of routes and believing in the plan. They've done such a good job with their scouting reports and paying attention. He hopes that they can get a couple more here in the second half, guys.
Thanks, Maria. You know, Matt, you made the point. You said, you know, in games like this, when you're saying a lot has to come from the sidelines, a lot has to come from the coaches, what you're really saying is that you don't have enough on the field.
Yeah.
Now, they've had guys that have stepped up on the field, but the coaches have done a brilliant job.
They have done a great job of executing.
And they get right back to Jeremy Hill, who's wrapped up after a gain of just about 1.5 yards by Denzel Kimdichie.
That was nice by Kimdichie to come inside out, Tess, because if Kimdichie doesn't get that, you've got a blocker out in front of him, and he's off to the races.
Denzel is the older brother. Robert, the younger brother, the #1 recruit in the country last year, is one of the injured players not in uniform for Ole Miss. As you see, big Robert there. And Denzel has 7 tackles on the night already. Second and 8 now. Here's Hill again, and once again, they're able to stack things up after a gain of maybe 1.5 yards that time, as it was Woodrow Hamilton clogging up the middle.
Yeah, that's 56 in the middle. That's Woodrow Hamilton. That was really interesting. He stood at the line of scrimmage and got down in kind of an old frog stance right at the end, and then he shocked the guard and came off. That's really well done by Hamilton.
3rd and 7. A little bit of pressure right at the feet of Mettenberger, and he throws it away. It'll go incomplete. But Cameron Wiggum ran a little stunt there, came right up the middle, and was pesky around the legs of Mettenberger.
It was pesky because they did, again, Tess, that's all about execution. Nice job by Hamilton. See, his job is to take 2 blockers. And then he comes around and gets the pressure, and Bell can't quite hold on to it.
So once again, that Ole Miss defense does their job, this time on the opening series of this second half. As that takes a bounce back across midfield, Jamie Keen's punt does. So prime field position for the upset-seeking Rebels here to start this.
And I saw a Hugh Freeze that was kind of had a good idea of exactly where his team was. He knew what his problems were. He knew what he was going to have to do to be able to win the game. So far, they've executed and followed that game plan.
And he's platooning quarterbacks, as we've seen throughout the year. A little more comfortable in recent weeks of sending Barry Brunetti in. Brunetti, there are a few run packages designed for him, but he'll throw the ball a bit too. Has 2 touchdown passes on the year. Flags come in.
Penalty flags on the play.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 56 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
The ball is now spotted at the 49.
Late one in the Pac-12 still set to come your way.
Second down and 12.
We may have another thriller here in the topsy-turvy SEC. Texas A&M took it on the chin earlier today. Could we have another top 10 team in harm's way here? Here's Jalen Walton. And Walton with a gain of 8 yards.
That's going to be short by about 2 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 2. Same play 2 times in a row. This time Walton hit it and got up inside.
Seeing more of Jalen Walton with starting running back Jeff Scott among the injured, unable to play tonight. Here's 3rd and 2. And a big hole that time for Walton. They moved the chains 3 in a row that way, Miller.
He stayed 3 straight, 3 same plays. All they did is they're pulling that left guard and bringing them all the way around. Rasco getting up slow.
Jamario Rasco has 3.5 tackles for loss this season for the Tigers.
What they're doing, they know that those 2 tackles inside they can have problems with, so they're blocking down on them and pulling around. Here it is to the other side with the quarterback.
Design quarterback run with Brunetti that time.
I like the game that Hugh Freeze is calling. He's keeping John Chavis, the defensive coordinator, a little bit off balance. And when you can do that, you're in the driver's side.
They go up tempo and switch out quarterbacks with Bo Wallace. And now they'll freeze him and look over here on 2nd and 8.
You got Moncrief on the backside here by himself with the safety dropping down.
And slithering his way through the middle of that defense is Itavius Mathers.
Itavius Mathers, he had a nice hole. It sets up this 3rd and short. Watch how they try to steal the ball right there at the end. Look at this. He's on it. Oh, man.
3rd down run will move the chains again with Mathers as the running game of Ole Miss is finding its stride.
They like something on that right side. That's old big Pierce Burton, the right tackle there. Justin Bell, 68, the right guard.
This time, Mathers is corralled at the line of scrimmage as there was very little room with Rasco and Ego Ferguson.
Well, they did a nice job of coming around. So they're pulling the guard. This is Jared Duke, 74. See him, watch him this. This is a great job right there. That's the whole key. When he steps up, that was Barrow, number 18. He steps up and stuck his face right in old Jared Duke's face. That stopped the whole thing. That's what they need to do.
2nd and 11 now. Wallace steps up in the pocket and then dumps it off to Walton. And here goes Walton. How about 1st and goal, Rebels?
You don't draw it up like that, Tess. That's not coming from the sideline. That is courtesy of the legs of Bo Wallace. A night at the Improv with Bo Wallace.
Well, what do we have brewing here in Oxford, Mississippi? Jalen Walton on a drive where the running game was clicking away.
Watch the vision. Watch the redirect. And then watch where he knows where the end zone is. That's really good. Now we said that Bo Wallace had to have his best game. And right now, he's in the middle of it.
Making some good decisions and leaning on that run game there on that drive. A 9-play drive that Bo Wallace guided down the field. More injuries than perhaps they thought they could handle. But they have patchworked this defense. They have found confidence on their offensive side. And the highest ranked one-loss team in the country, number 6 LSU, is in a hole of 17 points. Odell Beckham Jr. Can he quickly change that? A good return by the All-America candidate out to the 39. Monday Night Football. Vikings against the Giants. Coverage will begin with Monday Night Countdown at 6:30 Eastern. And then Vikings-Giants at 8:25. Also available on Watch ESPN. We visited with Archie Manning earlier tonight as he was with Maria Taylor, commenting on some of the advice, fatherly advice you give to a son in a tough spot that Eli, the former Ole Miss star, finds himself in this NFL season. 107 more yards accumulated by Ole Miss to this point. Mettenberger now on an inside screen that goes nowhere. Kadron Boone with Tony Connor on top of him.
I can't, you know what, Des? That might be my favorite player I've watched.
Tony Connor?
He is exceptionally good. He has such outstanding instincts. The stuff you can't teach, he's got it in spades.
He was the coveted recruit that Alabama was trying to land, and Ole Miss was able to get him, as there is an Ole Miss player who is down. We'll see if we can ID that man. It's Charles Sawyer, the starting cornerback, and that would be a big loss considering another cornerback is suspended and Mike Hilton's out with an injury.
Seminoles, but Taj Boyd to Sammy Watkins. The answer has come. It is now 17-7, end of the first quarter. Tess?
Thank you, Wendy. Charles Sawyer moments ago was able to walk off the field. He was down for a moment at the end of that last play, starting cornerback for Ole Miss. So now Bobby Hill goes in to replace him, and who does he draw? Odell Beckham Jr. We'll watch for that matchup here.
Stay on top of him. I'd try Beckham right here.
Here's Mettenberger. He's looking that way, goes downfield, and he gets it complete to Jarvis Landry.
Smart move right now by Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator for LSU. You know you're down a corner, you know you're depleted, so you go with 3 wides and you spread the field. And you can define things a lot easier when it's spread.
23-yard reception by Landry. Mettenberger to pass on first down now. He wants it all. That was almost intercepted. He was looking for Landry, and much like we saw 3 times in the first half, it was an underthrown ball, and Connor almost came up with it.
That's on Mettenberger, because that should have been 6. Landry was clearly, he was on top of Connor. But because the ball hangs, Connor comes back, and it's a fight for it. He could have come down with a pick there.
I mean, such a similar scenario of what cost Mettenberger in the first half. Had the man and came up short. That time, though, no pick. 2nd and 10. Crossing route to Boone. And a first down for LSU.
Now, he has had underneath, and we've showed you that. And on that last throw, he had underneath things. And this is the patience that I was talking about at the end of the first half, and the same patience that Leslie Edwin Miles was talking about at halftime, a.k.a. the Mad Hatter.
Charles Sawyer is back in defensively at cornerback for Ole Miss. Terrence McGee, and he was met by Chief Brown, who drives him back.
Best, let me explain to you what's going on with these safeties and why I mentioned that. Chief Brown is the guy also, and then Tony Connor, why that it's been so important. What they're doing right now is they are not going to allow neither Landry nor Beckham to get one-on-one coverage. So they're keeping somebody on top of them, and then those safeties, Connor, Chief Brown, they have to read inside and then cut to those safeties later. They are always in a precarious position.
Kenny Hilliard, good blocking in front as he rolls his way down near the 5-yard line, where it should be 1st and goal LSU. This their first trip to the red zone tonight. Can you believe that? Halfway mark of the 3rd, and it's the first time they're knocking on the door inside the red zone.
Now, what they have to do here is just continue to pound the football. They have to get 6 points here. This was a defining drive for them tonight.
This is where Hilliard's at his best. He has 5 rushing touchdowns. He's a short yardage, goal line kind of bruiser. They're going to try him. And he gets down to the 1.
Yeah, they're just going to pound it. They're going to take the ball out of Mettenberger's hands and just pound it in. That's how you get your offensive line back into it. That's how you get your running game up and running. You just keep on feeding it. And that's also going to get them right back in this game.
Remember, their starting fullback, J.C. Copeland, didn't make the trip, so it's Connor Neighbors at fullback.
Follow the fullback.
And that's what he does there.
Ball.
And they're going to say touchdown. The side judge took a long time running in there, but LSU has broken through.
That was a critical drive for the LSU Tigers. They needed to get on the board. Hilliard just keeps on fighting over a massive humanity.
That's Hilliard's 6th rushing touchdown of the year. And you can see why the officials have to take their time going through all those players. And LSU, is this the start of the comeback?
Yeah, they might check that test.
Yeah, they're gonna whistle this and see if they can get a review here. As you see Hugh Freeze talking it over with David Smith.
The previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field is a touchdown.
Now here's what's so difficult, as we made the point as the official taking his time of coming in confirming a touchdown, to try to find indisputable video evidence in some of these goal line situations when the ball is run right into the heart of that line is really difficult.
Well, it's a scrum right there, and you could make the case, as I'm sure the referee of the side judge saw, that you're on top of people, that you're not down. There's no part of your body that's on the ground except for your feet, and so the second effort carries him through, and that's what they're seeing.
There's the initial hit.
Now,
and then Hilliard, the second effort where he rolls back to the inside and extends the ball, is when the side official comes in. Watch, not the first go round here, but what happens after this moment, and you'll see the official coming in, and as he does, that's when Hilliard continues to reach back towards the inside and extends the ball over the plane. Now, clearly, it's hard to make an argument that there's indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field, which is touchdown. You could make the argument of forward progress.
That would be the argument.
In terms of indisputable video evidence to say that the ball was short of the goal line, challenging with all the bodies in the mix there, you can barely even see the goal line because of the defensive and offensive linemen intertwined.
They're just not going to be able to see it, Tess.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
And when they say the play stands, unlike it being confirmed, is they're saying, listen, there's not enough of that evidence to reverse the call. They can't confirm the call is correct. They can't prove the call is wrong. So the play on the field simply stands. Touchdown, LSU. Now, you said it earlier. They can always lean on that power running game.
Yes, they need to.
Go with all reliable, and that's what they did on that 61-yard drive. Still trailing by 10 is number 6 LSU. Number 6 LSU being tested tonight down here at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Joe Tessitore, Matt Millen, Maria Taylor with you. The SEC is thrown into the blender a bit today. And there stands Mizzou, good old Missouri.
What a great win for Coach Pinkel and defensive coordinator Dave Steckel. And I'll tell you that Michael Sam is having an All-American year. He is really playing well.
They're the surprise team of college football and sitting atop the SEC East, and here in the SEC West, where LSU came in as the highest ranked one-loss team and controlling their destiny to an SEC title. But they got a lot of work to do against these upset-minded rebels. Here's Walton on the return. changes gears and gets it out to the 24. Let's check in with Maria.
Well, there have been a lot of blank stares on the faces of the LSU defense until cornerback Jalen Mills hopped up, got in the face of the entire defensive line, and asked them if they want to play, and was really challenging his team to get it done here in this series and see if they can get a stop, guys.
He's a fiery guy. He's a young man who still has a very close relationship with his former LSU teammate Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger.
Oh, how well is he playing, Tess? He is playing phenomenal.
He's off to a good start in the league. Let's see if this LSU defense can show some of that spirit here. Wallace, quick strike, and what a catch by Treadwell. Strong hands just grabbing that out of the air.
That's a great call by you, Tess, because this is the definition of it. Watch this. Laid out, that's pure hands. And he's a big, powerful kid, but man, those hands are powerful as well. When you can catch and snatch the ball out of the air like that, you're in business.
He has already set the Ole Miss freshman record for receptions in a season. #1 receiver recruit in the country a year ago. And here goes Itavius Mathers out close to the 45-yard line.
Mathers a little bit thicker, not quite as quick. Jalen Walton, when he's in there, looks a lot like Jeff Scott.
Jeff Scott, of course, the game-breaking starting running back who's out with injury. And they will get a first down this time here. Out past midfield. They're claiming the ball is out. LSU is claiming it is. That is a fumble and a recovery by the Tigers. LSU comes up with it. That is Ronald Martin with the football there. Ole Miss was marching down the field, and then this happens. Look at that left knee.
I don't know if that's quite down. The ball's already out.
You can see the ball. It's a great job there, zooming in with the freeze there. As you see, Ronald Martin was forcing that fumble, and then he came up with it. Watch the knee of Mathers here.
Ball's
already out.
Yep.
And Ronald Martin forces the fumble and then recovers the fumble. And a great job by the rover there, Ronald Martin, as he got his right hand just on the ball as Mathers was finishing up that run. And you see it come loose there, and that left knee yet to hit the turf. And after that fumble recovery, Evan Ingram, the starting tight end for Ole Miss, was slow to get up, and he is limping off the field. And turnovers, the story of the first half of this game, as they gave Ole Miss so many opportunities and slammed the door on LSU's offense, as Mettenberger threw 3 interceptions, and now a turnover could spark things here as LSU tries to climb out of the hole here in the third quarter. Mettenberger and the offense back to business.
Patience is still going to be the word for this LSU offense.
And that was thrown low and underneath as he was looking Beckham's way. He was covered by Denzel Kondichi.
Now see, again, Tess, what they're doing, they're going to help those corners all the time. That time it was Kondichi's turn. It's called cutting. And you're running from the inside out underneath. That was well done by Kondichi.
Second and 10. Little pressure, and I don't know if his hand may have caught a defender on his follow through there, because Cameron Wiggum was coming in hard on Zach Mettenberger.
Mettenberger that time, he had one-on-one, and he knew where he wanted to get to.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you know what? Wiggum may have been gotten away with a little bit of a hand to the helmet as well, because he had Odell Beckham wide open.
LSU has converted half of their third downs tonight, 3 of 6. Here facing a 3rd and 10. Man to watch is at the top of your screen, Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, he's manned.
Mettenberger didn't look his way. Goes the other way and comes up with it in a big way to Jarvis Landry,
who got locked up man-to-man with Tony Connor, the safety. That's tough coverage for a safety to be in. And he has the coverage, but this is a perfectly thrown ball right over the top.
34-yard reception. Mettenberger to Landry. And here comes LSU. Jeremy Hill now hopping over the defensive line and getting down to the 12-yard line.
So right now, it feels like things, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you feel like things are starting to fall apart. So if you're Dave Womack, the defensive coordinator, what you have to do is just stay true to what you've done, what's gotten you here. Don't try to take a chance.
And LSU can stay true to that running game. They know where they have the advantage. They go I formation as Mettenberger checks at the line here on 2nd and 5. And he sticks with Hill, who spins and then backs his way down to what could be a first down here.
Looks like it's going to be 3rd and short.
Let's see where they mark it. It'll depend on that spot. Remember, that yellow line you see there is unofficial, just a guide we put in. And they're going to call for a measurement. So they'll bring the chains in.
We need to adjust our line test. Let's move it back a little bit. 3rd and short. Follow the fullback. Follow the fullback.
Dave Womack, the Ole Miss defensive coordinator, said you can do all day. Just take that fullback off his course. It's a key to playing LSU. But they're so good with the power run game and the lead blockers. And now Anthony Jennings comes in to play quarterback. True freshman, scored a rushing touchdown last week on a goal line heavy package. Let's see what he comes up with on 3rd and inches. Patiently waited for the offensive line to drive block, and then Anthony Jennings does make it 1st and goal. So Mettenberger will trot back out there.
Connor Neighbors, the fullback, was, I don't know what kind of stance he was in. You know, low man wins in those situations. Connor Neighbors looked like he looked like he was, I don't know what, but he was low.
Here's Hill on 1st and goal.
Tess, you know, when they get in that I formation, Neighbors 43 is the lead back. You got another Ole Miss defender down.
There's Cameron Wiggum, who made that good play earlier on Mettenberger, and they cannot afford to lose Cameron Wiggum. Remember, Robert Kimdichie at that end spot. Carlos Thompson already out. The other defensive end, C.J. Johnson. His head ran right into the back end of Trey Turner, the 316-pound lineman for LSU. And now you see Wiggum walking off on his own without any help. So that's a great sign. I was saying last week, Serdarius Bryant, one of their star linebackers, suffered a concussion but was laying motionless down on the field after he bumped into Johnny Manziel in what was a scary scene here. So here's John Youngblood stepping into the game with LSU trying to keep this momentum going. 2nd and goal. Here's Hill. Touchdown, Tigers. And LSU has found itself here in the 2nd half.
On the back of the running game, Kent Cameron knew exactly what he needed to do to get this group settled. And that's put the ball in the power running game's hands. And that's what they've done. And it's been Jeremy Hill, Kenny Hilliard, and they've been following Connor Neighbors, number 43, in that big offensive line.
Delahousie remains perfect on the year on PATs as Evan Ingram is limping his way to the locker room. Yet another injury for Ole Miss to deal with their starting tight end. 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes and 7 seconds. A much needed spark from Les Miles' team here in the third quarter. This was Mettenberger on the first scoring drive as he set them up, and then they pounded away with Kenny Hilliard. And then the fumble at about midfield, and Mettenberger to Landry. And then you can always lean on this, Jeremy Hill. And that cuts into the Ole Miss lead. 17-0 Rebels is now just a 3-point game.
And now you can start to feel the shift in the stadium test. And so clearly momentum is shifted to the side of the LSU Tigers. And so now it's Ole Miss's turn to find what they had before and latch onto it. And what that was patience in that passing game, mixing in with some runs. And then it was also a nice job of Bo Wallace making the best decisions he's made all season.
Big leg James Hairston to kick away as Walton is the deep return man for the Rebels. Jalen Walton. Not close to the 24-yard line. Let's check in with Wendy Nix. Wendy?
Yes, thank you. To South Bend we go. USC on the road at Notre Dame. Tommy Rees to TJ Jones. And it's a 4-point ball game, 14-10 Irish. And the #1 team in the country, Alabama, 45-0. The tail end of the third quarter. Tess?
Thank you, Wendy. Of course, USC with Ed Ogeron now coaching the team. Former Ole Miss coach from 04 to 07. Bo Wallace on first down. And right at the line of scrimmage, Logan can't find much running room. Maria, what do you have?
Well, Evan Ingram's gone back to the locker room to get checked. He has a left ankle sprain. I saw him trying to run it off. He really couldn't put a lot of pressure on it or take off on it. Cameron Wingham, he has a neck strain. He's questionable to return. They're still looking at him right now, guys.
And Evan Ingram, he was listed as one of the tight ends on a recently released all-SEC mid-season team. A true freshman who's really had a breakout start to his college career. So not on the field here with the offense. 2nd and 10 to pass again. All the way cross field to Jordan Holder. He gets it out just beyond the 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd and long from there.
Been a quiet night for Moncrief.
Number 12, Dante Moncrief, came in with a lot of hype this season, but so many of these freshmen have blossomed. He only has 2 catches so far tonight.
LSU is showing pressure, but they're not going to give it.
3rd down pass, tries to tuck it, run it. Can he get there? Spins his way for a first down, but a flag is down. And we will check on that back at the 27-yard line.
Holding, 71 offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 3rd down.
That's Pierce Burton, the right tackle, so this will come back.
Been a relatively clean game inside on both sides of the ball. Pierce Burton, he's right up top right there, number 71.
See him grabbing the jersey right around the shoulder pads and ripping Rasco down to the ground, so it was a good call there. As it'll be 3rd and 15.
Straight 2 deep zone.
That is caught right at the line to make, and then rolling forward was Logan. Very good athletic play after that catch as he goes for 16.5 yards.
Test this whole key. A, they had good protection. B, Moncrief cleared that thing out and allowed Jamez Logan to get in behind him. Because Moncrief cleared the area, Logan had a free spot.
Walton trying to get to the edge, and he does, and stays on his feet out to the 49-yard line. Jalen Walton.
Walton hit another gear as soon as he cleared that edge. As soon as he cleared that edge, it's like he hit third gear, and man, he had 10 yards like that.
Well, you're right. He does mimic Jeff Scott in so many ways, doesn't he? As he rounds the corner and then accelerates, digging into it.
Yep, really nice.
So from a 3rd and 15 moments ago to a first down here near midfield, and here goes Walton again. This an 8-yard run taken down by DJ Welter.
I'll tell you what they've done tonight pretty well. They've run a couple wraparounds inside, pulling the guards, but they have run successfully at Anthony Johnson and Ego Ferguson. The strength of that LSU defense.
Well, movement
it's a free play
front.
right here, Tess.
Wallace is going to take a shot downfield, and coming back for the ball that time was Dante Moncrief.
One guy says it's good, the other guy across the field says it isn't.
And he got both hands underneath, and then the ball went back down towards the elbows.
Defense, number 90. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
So smart of Wallace to take a shot with the offside penalty coming in. And then Moncrief digs down and gets both those hands under the ball as LSU was claiming incomplete, but it is a first down at the 26.
Checking the coverage. They're still showing a 2 shell. Playing a zone back there.
Could be the final play of this third quarter. Straight up the middle. Walton, a race to the end zone. What a response by Ole Miss. 26-yard touchdown, Jalen Walton.
Yes, that's a heck of a call by Hugh Freeze. You saw them look to the sideline. He saw that they stayed with both safeties deep, and they ran that same trap that we've been watching all night long. And when Walton hit that second gear, 6 points.
Just when it looked like LSU had all the momentum, had punched Ole Miss in the face, they fire back.
That is what you call a character drive. You got to have character to come back and do this. Everybody on a man, and then Walton's got to hit that gear, and he does. And because those safeties are split, once you get to the second level, 6 points is what you get.
Remember, this is a pure speed guy. He's one of the better kickoff return men in the SEC in recent years. A speedy back. Guy who had a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown against Texas last season, and now shows you a little bit of that game-breaking ability with Jeff Scott injured and unable to play. It's Walton who steps into that role to play hero here, and Ole Miss is back up by 10.
It's a great call by Hugh Freeze. That's a great read from the sideline to see what they're in, and also knowing what your team is doing and doing well. So he had confidence in that inside run game. And again, he ran right at the strength of LSU's defense. The 2 defensive tackles came back inside with that wraparound again with the guard. Safety's not there. Split it for 6 points.
Remember, Jamez Logan also had that key play there. 16-yard reception on 3rd and 15 to keep that drive alive, and then it was Jalen Walton to cap it. 8 plays. This place is rocking. There's 3 seconds remain in the third quarter. And a reminder, it is that time of the year. The BCS standings will be revealed by Reese and the guys. BCS Countdown presented by Vizio. Sunday at 8:30 on ESPN, and then 9 Eastern. They continue on ESPNU, and boy, what a shakeup we could have. Louisville, UCLA, they went down as unbeaten. Texas A&M was upset, and will LSU coming in as the highest ranked of the one-loss teams, a team who, yes, you know the thriller when they lost at Georgia, but a team with everything still ahead of them coming into tonight, controlling their destiny to a potential SEC title. And now 15 minutes and 3 seconds to turn things around here at Vaught Hemingway. And Mettenberger completes this on an in to Jarvis Landry that'll close out just a wild third quarter. That 10-zip halftime lead. Oh, the stories we could tell in that third quarter. LSU, the Tigers roared back. And then Jalen Wolf. ESPN College Football Prime Time. Glad you're with us as you're watching the SEC on ESPN. Joe Tessitore alongside Matt Millen and Maria Taylor with the number 6 team in the country trailing by 10 to start the fourth quarter.
Odell Beckham Jr. has been quiet here in the second half.
Doesn't have a catch in the second half for LSU. Mettenberger looks his way, and just like that, Odell Beckham Jr. gets it close to midfield.
All right, so if you are the Ole Miss defense right now, what you're saying is Landry and Beckham are the guys who can beat me fast. So I'm taking them away. Make somebody else beat me.
Pressure up the middle. Mettenberger stayed upright, but then Hill is taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Just good overall pursuit by the defense as Kimdichie was coming after Mettenberger, and then Hooks was able to corral Hill.
Odell Beckham, you can see 3 of his 9 targets were picked here tonight. That was not his fault. That was on Mettenberger. Patience is the key for Mettenberger. So far in this second half, he's shown that.
That was Cameron Wiggum, who you saw out with an injury. That's now 4 defensive ends for Ole Miss not in action. That was almost intercepted as he threw it just behind Boone.
But Tess, that's where you want them to go with the ball. That's Derek Jones who's defending, but you want to take away Landry and Beckham and make Boone beat you. You want him to get to somebody else, not the guys who are their money makers. You want somebody else to prove that they can make some money.
Derek Jones, who you see out there, a true freshman making his first start. As they have 2 cornerbacks injured as well. 3rd down and 10.
See how Womack plays him. Zone.
Plenty of time. Mettenberger downfield. And Odell Beckham Jr. went up, but couldn't come down with it as he was covered by Trey Elston. And with that effort, you can see the pain on the face of Beckham Jr. as he came down hard at the end of that play.
Well, they played a zone, and Elston was in the top of that zone. Now, keep in mind, when you're playing zone, essentially, when you get to the deep third, you're in man-to-man coverage. And that's what Elston found himself in against Beckham Jr. and came away with it. Beckham does it. This is a phenomenal job of going up. He just couldn't quite hold it because Elston stayed true to the coverage and followed through with it.
And came down hard on his back with also the weight and momentum of Elston following and landing on him. You can see the back of his head as well hitting the field turf.
That's a really good defensive. This is a great effort all the way around. But watch Elston. He stays with it and pushes the arm test. He pushed the arm, separated the hands, incomplete. And we will be right back right after this.
Deep downfield. It is caught by LSU. 1 second to go. They're going to wind the clock. There's the clock. It's gone. That's it. That's the ball game. Why did LSU not send the field goal team out? Hand off to Hill. High in the end zone. Touchdown! LSU goes out in front.
Yes, there have been some crazy ones through the years between Ole Miss and LSU. You saw 2009, and then last year when LSU won 41-35. Ole Miss led 28-20. LSU scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. And just to get back to really what is the headline coming into this game, and for folks at home, they watched the way Ole Miss has played tonight. They said, yeah, it's Ole Miss playing good football. We've seen them all year long, talented young team. They're decimated with injuries.
Oh, yeah.
Defensively, they've been patchworking this thing all week just to arrive at this point.
Absolutely. And the guys who they needed to step up, they've stepped up. Some guys who you don't really know their names. They're young underclassmen. Guys like Wiggum, he's come through in a big way. You have some freshmen who've also played extremely well. And they find themselves here in the fourth quarter in a position to be able to take this thing. And here we are in fourth down. And like you mentioned to me earlier, this is one of those trick downs possibly.
Yeah, they're
going to kick it away.
Oh, that is muffed. And LSU looks to jump on it here. Let's see if they came up with it. They're already celebrating. We need the official call here. But Corvick Neat couldn't control that punt. And LSU, Alfred Blue, the backup running back on special teams, will have a first down as it'll be served up deep in Ole Miss territory on the muff punt.
Yeah.
Corvick Neat right off his chest. And you know, Jeff Scott, their star running back, who also plays special teams, not in action tonight. Well, that was a knuckleball of a punt, and he really struggled to contain it. So this thing is teed right up for the LSU offense.
Here comes power game.
High formation with Jeremy Hill as the tailback. Hard charging run by Hill down to the 7-yard line.
And when they've gone back to this power game, Ole Miss has not had an answer. They've tried to blitz it. That time, I don't know if that was a run blitz or not, but it looked like it from here because they committed it back fast. They're not big enough up front, so Dave Womack, the defensive coordinator, has been trying to offset that with movement.
Hill again. He was met at the line of scrimmage that time as Mike Mary filled that hole, the senior backer. Wears that number 38 jersey at Ole Miss.
This will be a very interesting call off the power game. I would expect to see a play action. Play action, and this is where tight ends are. Oh, no, they're going to spread guys out a little bit. They're putting Hill outside.
So they're going to go empty here on 3rd and 5.
Watch the quarterback draw.
Watch that play clock down to 1. Here's Mettenberger on 3rd down. Trying to extend the play, being sacked all the way back at the 24-yard line by Isaac Gross.
Great coverage inside the red zone. Mettenberger Tess had nowhere to go with that football, and Isaac Gross comes up with a huge play. Watch the coverage on the outside. They spread everybody out. They're going 3-on-2 to the top side, manned up in the middle with Mary. That's great coverage. Nowhere to go with the ball, and Isaac Gross, the shark was feeding.
A loss of 16 yards. So here is Colby Delahousse, who is yet to miss on the year. A perfect 8 for 8. And after the muff punt, LSU cashes in for a quick 3. Could have been more, but Isaac Gross tracked down $3 million in those scholarship monies.
Well, Tess,
7-point margin as Ole Miss jumped out in front early. LSU came back in the third quarter, and then moments ago, special teams, a knuckleball of a punt that was muffed. LSU recovered it and got a field goal out of it. And Jalen Walton will take a knee. Let's check in with Wendy Nix.
Tess, we go back to Death Valley where the troubles continue for Clemson. Jameis Winston here for Florida State to Rashad Green, 72 yards. The longest completion of the season for Winston, and the Seminoles lead this one 24-7. But the trouble doesn't stop there. Here's Taj Boyd picked off, and Clemson struggled from the outset. 24-7 now at the tail end of the first half.
Thanks, Wendy. Number 3, Clemson. And a tough go of it against the Noles. Laquan Treadwell. As he was out before the ball was stripped there. Strange day in college football. Clemson's in a hole against Florida State. Texas A&M has lost. Louisville lost last night. Number 9 UCLA lost. And here's LSU against an unranked Ole Miss team dealing with all these injuries and dealing with Jalen Walton, who has played very well in the last few possessions.
First down.
I'll tell you who's been playing pretty well, along with Jalen Walton, has been Nick Parker, number 34. They've been asking him to block the defensive end the whole night, and he's been doing it all night long.
Also had a touchdown catch earlier tonight, and this time that is blown up as Lamar Lewis was quick to get to the line. You see the second half for Walton, the 2 touchdowns, 76 yards.
Right now, for Ole Miss, they don't have to have a big play. All they need is to move those chains. Just get to 3rd and manageable. That's what they want to do.
2nd and 9. Wallace hit it to his running back. Well, another good defensive play by Lewis coming up against Itavius Mathers.
That was really well done by Lamar Lewis. He read that thing the whole time. Now, he said they saw that onto the outside with Mathers. He came from inside out, used his help, knew where he had to be. There was only one way to go, and that set up this 3rd down. 2 good plays in a row by Lewis.
See if the Tigers can get a stop. 3rd down and 9. Wallace over the middle, and that is complete and getting free. It's Dante Moncrief inside the 30-yard line. Just when they needed it most, Bo Wallace delivers.
Right in front of the safety. This thing could have been a pick, or at least knocked down, but that's a great catch.
33 yards on a 3rd and 9. And that'll take us under 9.5 minutes. Ole Miss marching already with a 7-point lead over LSU. Back to Walton they go. The pass on 2nd and 7. And inside the 10-yard line, a flag comes down as he connects again with Moncrief. We will check on the flag. As Moncrief got inside of White.
He's locked up with White on the outside, Tess.
Holding on the defense, number 16. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
You know, it's funny. In critical times, great players make big plays. There's the hold on the shoulder.
Boy, he rode him for a good 6-7 yards before he released that jersey. And Moncrief now has over 100 yards receiving. So Wallace is going to the veteran in some of these critical spots. First and goal, Ole Miss. We're going to push this thing to a 2-possession game, and Walton lost his footing that time.
He had some area to run there. That was another good job by Nick Parker. Nick Parker, number 34, the fullback. They're lining him up in a kind of a weird position, almost like a tight end. And they're having him block Daniil Hunter the whole night. He's been doing a really good job. He's a big key to that running game.
You said Bo Wallace needs to play well tonight. He is a perfect 10 for 10 in the second half. Second and goal. And they get the sack. LSU's defensive front corralling Bo Wallace.
Good coverage. Nowhere to go with the football. He tried to go to Moncrief. White had him. And so he's waiting for it. He can't go to the underneath coverage because that's taken away. The net result is a sack. Sets up this third down test.
There is Rasco. See if they can get after him here on third and goal.
You have that trips package to the top side that gives you better route combinations. That's where you like to look.
Ball came loose there, and they're going to say that's incomplete as Hunter disrupted that throw by Wallace. So the LSU defense keeps him out of the end zone, as it'll be a field goal attempt by Ritter.
Watch Daniil Hunter coming to the inside. It's his long arms that got there. That's a really good job. They ran a stunt between he and Ferguson, and Daniil Hunter came to the inside and sets up this field goal. That's a big stop there, Tess.
And Ritter will try to push the lead to 10 here on this 29-yarder. And it is blocked, and that's an even bigger stop, Matt. It stays a one-possession game with 6:29 remaining. Ego Ferguson getting congratulations from his teammates as LSU came up big in special teams.
That was an extremely low kick.
Watch Daniil Hunter, 94 here, go up, but I think it was Ferguson coming in strong right in the middle there as they got a great surge. Right there, Ferguson swats it away.
Heck, it hit him in the side. That's a low kick.
Ole Miss at first and goal. Hemingway Stadium here in Oxford. And this reminder that the Vikings and Giants are coming up on Monday night on ESPN, and coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6:30 Eastern, and then the game, Minnesota, New York, will kick off at 8:25. Blocked field goal moments ago by Ego Ferguson, and LSU has a chance here to tie up this game. 6:29 remaining. Here's Mettenberger on first down, and he goes underneath and can't get it complete to Terrence McGee. He threw it back to the inside of his running back. Second and 10, pass right in stride as he finds Jarvis Landry out to the 39-yard line, and a flag comes in late at about the 45.
This is Tony Connor. on top of him. I don't know what they're going to call there.
May have been away from the two of them. We'll see what referee David Smith, as he confers with his SEC crew here.
Could have been extracurricular afterwards, but it wasn't on Connor.
There's no foul on the previous play for targeting. Blocking pressure was legal.
Yeah, what you're seeing here, what you're going to watch right at the end of the play right here, it's going to be on Cody Pruitt. And that's Travis Dixon, the tight end, and he's just following the play, and that's part of football.
It was away from the ball carrier and the tackler. And Jarvis Landry now getting a little more involved in the offense as he has 5 catches for 101 yards. First down throw again, and once again he goes Jarvis Landry's way.
It's Trey Elston working on Landry. They came with a blitz. And so Dave Womack rolls the dice a little bit. And he's letting both those receivers, Beckham and Landry, be covered man-to-man, and that's taking a chance.
Plenty of time for Mettenberger. And this is looking all too easy for the senior quarterback as he hits Boone. And LSU is effortlessly coming down the field.
No pressure, good protection, and Boone with a nice cushion just taking advantage on Derek Jones underneath.
Jones making his first start, a true freshman. Remember,
it's smart by Jones, though, Tess. You'd rather have him come up and make a tackle, live for another down, than give up a big one.
2 cornerbacks out of action for Ole Miss. 1 suspended, 1 injured. Mettenberger, after looking things over, eventually had to dump it down the hill, and it goes incomplete. And you know what's on the line with LSU. They come in as the highest-ranked one-loss team, so still very much alive and in control for an SEC title, with Alabama still to play and Texas A&M still to play. Now, the Aggies lost today, but here's LSU controlling their destiny if they can get over this hurdle. Second and 10, Mettenberger again, as he was looking Landry on the inside, but a little too much to the inside.
Yeah, that's
leading Landry.
That's on Mettenberger completely, because Elston gave a nice cushion, and the inside was wide open. So now it's 3rd and 10, and so what you must do right here, at the worst, for Ole Miss, is you can't give up the first. Let something underneath be caught, and then make the tackle. Play for them to try a field goal, but you can't give up anything over that.
3rd and 10. He wants more than that to the end zone, incomplete. It'll be 4th down, 5 minutes and 1 second remaining, trailing by 7. As Mettenberger looks over and comes right back out there for a 4th down play call. Trailing by 7. And as Les Miles will put it on his offense here, LSU with 2 timeouts remaining. Play clock is under 12 as they approach the line. And Mettenberger is still trying to get the guys all set here. Play clock down to 4.
Okay, take away Landry and Beckham, make someone else try to make this catch.
And they're going to have to use a timeout as they took a little too much time in simply getting organized for the 4th down call. So LSU with 1 timeout remaining. It's been looking Jarvis Landry's way. Landry has 6 catches for 117. We know the situation with the Ole Miss defensive backs. So far, so good up until this drive where Mettenberger was moving it down the field with Landry and Boone.
Right, so let's go back to what we saw in the first half. Remember when we saw them cutting coverages?
Yes.
And so what you're going to do right now, if you're on the defensive side, you want to say, okay, I'm going to let him, I'm not going to rush, I'm not going to put a big rush on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take away Beckham and Landry and make him find somebody else. And the way I take him away is I undercut with those either a backer or a safety.
Guys like Tim Dichie and some of the safeties.
That shrinks test. What that does is that shrinks the window to throw it into extremely tight. You make Mettenberger have to be perfect.
Take it in, folks. Prime time in the SEC with an upset on the line. Home crowd roaring, looking to rally support for their defense as Mettenberger and number 6 LSU face 4th and 10. And he gets it to the All-America Odell Beckham Jr. Mr. Reliable, first down, LSU.
What we said is exactly what they did. The difference in the play is Sawyer was trying to hold the inside, and Beckham still got inside.
And now they can go back to the backs, and McGee with a good solid run of nearly 10 yards that time. 15-yard reception on 4th and 10. And put him in prime position here, and that is Keith Lewis, who's now down. A linebacker who's getting more and more playing time in that role that Sir Darius Bryant would normally occupy for Ole Miss. So as they tend to Keith.
Then on the inside, your job is to take any in-cutting receivers if they break. Now I want you to watch to the outside. Here's your in-cutting receiver. You turn your back, and because you turned your back, he comes clean. You had the perfect defense, and you didn't get it done.
Odell Beckham Jr. Gonna have the big catch for LSU. And now they are in prime position to tie this game. 1st and goal. Jeremy Hill just following that running back and only able to get just inside the 5-yard line.
Remember this, all night long, they've been an I formation. They've been handing it to Hill, and they've been following old number 43, Connor Neighbors. So at one point, Tess, I'm going to expect to see the play action off that and pull up to either a tight end or one of those receivers.
Earlier here in the 4th quarter, when they were knocking on the door, they passed it on 3rd down. Mettenberger was sacked for a 16-yard loss. Let's see if they stick with the ground game here. 2nd and goal. There is the play action, as you thought. And there is the result. Touchdown. They're an extra point away from a tie game here at Ole Miss.
You knew that one was coming.
Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry one-on-one to the outside. Now you're going to like your chances with that. And this is a nice throw by Mettenberger because Landry does a great job of coming back to the ball. So you throw it where only he can get it. Sawyer actually had good coverage, but he comes back to the ball, and it's almost indefensible.
Double Husey has not missed an extra point all year. (24-24). This was 17-0 at one point in this second half. An 11-play drive. And Jarvis Landry with the 4-yard touchdown reception there in a second half where he has come alive, over 100 yards, and that game-time touchdown reception just in the second half alone. 121 for the night. Of course, there have been moments where Ole Miss would like to have back, like Mathers putting it on the ground, and then Neat, the muff punt. LSU would cash in with a field goal, and then an opportunity to make it a 2-possession game. But the blocked field goal by Ego Ferguson, and that's the one that really stings. If you think about Ole Miss having 1st and goal at the LSU 8. But instead of pushing it to a 10-point margin, Landry and the boys have tied things up.
Well, let me say this. If you were an Ole Miss fan or player or coach, and we said before this game, hey, if you can take this thing into the fourth quarter with 3:19 to go, and you are getting the ball, and it's tie ball game, would you take that? Every person would have said absolutely yes. So here you go. You got your chance.
Jalen Walton's going to return this from the end zone. And he was just gobbled up that time by Kendall Beckwith. They have 5 races to go as the chase for the Sprint Cup heads to Talladega, NASCAR's most unpredictable track. It's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Talladega, presented by 5 Hour Energy. Coverage will begin at 1 Eastern on ESPN on Sunday afternoon. Now, the most unpredictable track in college football today has been the SEC. A&M went down. South Carolina went down. Georgia went down. Mizzou's the surprise team of college football. And now number 6 in a tie ball game here in the final moments against Ole Miss. As Walton was taken down by the shoelaces that time.
Big picture right here, Tess. 388 total yards for LSU. That means Ole Miss defense has done their job. It's time now for this Ole Miss offense to be what they're supposed to be.
By the way, Walton now has his first career 100-yard game. And in place of Jeff Scott, here's Wallace on 2nd and 6. And he tried to muscle that thing to the outside, but it was incomplete as Tre'Davious White defended that.
He waited just a little bit too long because Moncrief had him beat. And because he had to move a little bit to the outside, White was able to recover. He's holding him again, which is okay. As long as it's not called, it's not a hold.
He's a true freshman. He's a cousin to former LSU star and current Dallas Cowboys player Mo Claiborne. Third and 6. Wallace trying to get free. And he gets ahead for that line to make. What a gutsy effort as he was desperate to reach out there.
This is the best I've seen Bo Wallace play. We said he had to play his best game, and he's doing just that.
325 yards on 26 or 35 passing. And there a critical run to get a first down. Under 2 minutes and 20 seconds here in regulation. Treadwell cannot get loose at all. He is taken down back at the 21-yard line. A tackle for loss.
And Micah Eugene, number 34. Nicely done. That's a little on Laquan Treadwell. He turned inside, should have spun back outside.
There's a flag all the way over on the other side of the field, far away from where Treadwell was tackled.
I was picking up the flag. Not seeing anything.
Illegal shift on the offense. That penalty is declined. 2nd down.
So it'll be 2nd down as they're backed up just beyond the 21-yard line. Bo Wallace will try to dig out of this hole now.
Sanders comes in, Holder come in. They're going with the 5 wide look.
2nd and 13.
Spreading the field.
Pressure off the edge was picked up by Walton. And Wallace just gets it beyond the original line of scrimmage to Logan.
Tess, that was a great call, a great pickup, because that was a phenomenal pickup by Walton. That's called going coast to coast. You have to scan the entire field, and he did just that. That's a great job, Walton.
Jalen Mills is laying down back at the 14-yard line, the starting cornerback for LSU.
He's the one who came on the pressure, and Walton stuck him.
Sophomore was coming in off the corner to try to get to Wallace when Walton came over in pass pro and did his job, and now Mills is getting up as the trainers will help him off. He's had a decent night with a couple of sacks and 5 tackles. Big part of what LSU has been doing on defense the past couple games with some of these younger players blossoming at the right time.
Third and 9 here, Tess. 3rd and 9. Bo Wallace has to be smart with this. What you can't do here, there can't be a turnover. He's got to be smart. At the least, you kick it away and let your defense try to do their thing.
And some Ole Miss fans would cringe at the thought of punting away to LSU with a game in this rivalry on the line, especially with Beckham Jr. back there. And thoughts of Billy Cannon. And there's a toss to convert as Jamez Logan gives Ole Miss a first down.
That's a great job by Bo Wallace. In the best game that I've seen him play, Tess, he has been clutch in clutch times.
Ball is out to the 39-yard line. Going to stay on the ground here with Walton, who gets it to the 41. And if you're thinking about what is the range of their field goal kicker, Andrew Ritter, well, we were down there pregame and we were watching him make from 52 yards. So that would be the 35-yard line pregame in the direction they're heading in now. He was good from 52 in that direction. That also would tie his career long. A senior from Jackson, Mississippi. We will see if he will get his opportunity here against LSU. 1:19 remaining, a timeout used. Ole Miss has 2 remaining.
So for that field goal to occur, he's about 25 yards away.
35-yard line would be that range, getting the ball to the 35-yard line.
Right, and
would be the range for Ritter.
Plenty of time. You got the timeouts that you need to. The clock will stop if you get a first down. You just be patient and take what the defense gives you. And now for LSU, what you got to do, you've got to get pressure with just 4. And then make somebody other than the big guys beat you. Make it have to go to the underneath guys.
Empty set for Wallace on 2nd and 8. Sneaks out, tucks it, runs it, and steps ahead to midfield. Out of bounds. It'll be first down, Rebels.
Good decision. He saw the coverage. He had nothing. He saw a lot of green, and he took it.
Season high of 339 passing yards for Bo Wallace. He has struggled a little bit during this 3-game losing streak. And now out of the backfield is Walton. Blockers in front for Walton. And he is forced out of bounds. Down near the 42-yard line by White.
They had 3 receivers to that side, led by Moncrief, Logan, and Treadwell. And all 3 of them had excellent blocks.
That is Freak Johnson. Tremendous defensive tackle for LSU, who is still down back near midfield.
Remember, Johnson's the one who had the block kick to tie this thing that allowed them to be able to tie up.
Let's check in with Wendy Nix in the studio while we have a chance.
Tess, thank you so much. Coming up in just a few minutes, kickoff scheduled at 10:30 Eastern, or just after Oregon State and Cal. This game will air on ESPN2 after the completion of our game. Right now, though, it will kick off on ESPNU. Tess?
Look forward to watching a little Pac-12 ball deep into the night. But for now, Wendy, it is all about under the lights in the SEC with it all on the line. Number 6 LSU trying to stay the course here as they have come back against Ole Miss, but now the Rebels marching, looking to put Andrew Ritter into field goal range and give him a chance. Mathers with the carry. Mathers crosses that green line into the field goal range of Ritter. And Ole Miss is doing exactly what they want on a well-managed drive.
This is a great job of play calling right now by Hugh Freeze. They give that 5-wide look again.
Mathers motions to the backfield with Wallace. And he has a nice hole on the right side, and he's down to the 26, tackled by Lamar Lewis. And now LSU 1 timeout remaining as the clock is under 50 seconds. Ole Miss with 2 timeouts. Empty set for now with Wallace. Mathers will join him again coming out of the slot.
Showing pressure, man outside.
Pressure right up the middle, and Mathers just gets back to the line of scrimmage.
He's going to play for this field goal here with 32 seconds. They showed a lot of pressure up inside, and they went man-to-man outside, Des. I thought maybe what you'd see is a check at the line of scrimmage and throw outside to Moncrief.
Remember the last field goal attempt for Ritter was blocked by Ego Ferguson. He got a great push on the inside. Big number 9, 300-pounder, blew things up. Ritter's range is solid. They're already at the 26-yard line. He's good from inside of 52. As it stands right now, ball at the 26-yard line. The comfort zone of Ritter has been achieved. And Walton will just get an extra 1.5 yards as the clock will count down, and they will set things up for the senior kicker, Andrew Ritter, a Mississippi native. He served as a kickoff specialist for 3 seasons. Now as a senior, a golden opportunity for moments like this. That ball just inside the 24-yard line. So it's about a 41-yard field goal. See what they mark it officially as timeout used there by LSU. 3 seconds remain on the clock. In the grand history of this rivalry, you know, Matt.
Why would LSU take a timeout here? You want Ole Miss to use their timeout so that you could use yours to ice it. I don't understand that one. So Ole Miss retains their timeout, which really doesn't matter. I would have thought that Ole Miss would have used their timeout to get to the 3-second mark, and LSU would have tried to ice the kicker right before and call a timeout. Instead, for some reason I don't understand, LSU called a timeout with 3 seconds.
When you think about the long history of this rivalry from all the way back in Halloween night in 1959 to the recent antics with Les Miles and clock management to the drama last year with 15 seconds remaining and an LSU victory, and now this undermanned, injured Ole Miss team patchworking and scrapping it together to try to slay number 6. Andrew Ritter will step up to the plate and get his chance.
Got to have a strong kick here. You can't be weak like Malenko. That you can't do.
Remember, they got that good push up the middle for a blocked field goal attempt from that guy right there, Ego Ferguson, earlier.
And the pressure there he got was over Jared Duke.
And reset the clock to 6 seconds. Here's Ritter from 41 to give Ole Miss the lead. Oh, what a night in Oxford. 27-24. 2 seconds remain, and a major upset in the SEC will be theirs.
Yes, we said Bo Wallace had to play the best game of his career. He did just that. We said their defense had to come up with some big-time plays. They did just that.
Senior Andrew Ritter. Good hold. Good technique. He believed in it. Les Miles said Ole Miss was that hurdle on the schedule. And the headset comes off as that goes through. Ranked SEC teams today: Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, A&M. They all went down. And now number 6 LSU. 2 seconds away. A depleted unit. You see guys in jerseys without pads. Injured starters throughout that defense of Ole Miss. But they game planned. They schemed, and they played with fire and intensity to arrive at that moment. And Ritter sent it through.
Now, you still have Odell Beckham Jr. back there, who he's outstanding with his hands on the ball.
Now, they shouldn't be giving him a chance at all.
You may not want to give him the chance, but if you're LSU, you make sure the ball gets in his hands. They can kick it the other way, but eventually you get it into his hands.
That's McGee with the ball as he laterals, and it does get into the hands of Beckham Jr.
Oh, he shouldn't have stopped.
As now it's Landry who laterals, and that looked like it was forward. The flag comes down, and this thing's going to be over. And we got a field stormer and a Gatorade bath as they look to hunt down Hugh Freeze. Ole Miss has pulled it off. An upset in Oxford.
On the receiving team, penalty is declined. Game is over.
They had lost 3 straight on a week that started with Ole Miss pushing A&M to the limit. They can't find their coach, Millen.
The linemen lost. They had nowhere to go with their Gatorade.
You saw the Magnolia Bowl trophy. They've been handing that out since 08. Let's get down to the celebration with Maria Taylor.
Coach, you said that you knew your offense would be able to score points. What was going through your mind as they took the field for that decisive drive?
Well, you know, we had let them back in the game. Fumble punt, low kick, you know, didn't score touchdowns in the red zone. But, you know, our kids have battled so hard and been in so many of these. I think that helped us some. Really proud of the way Bo played, and just happy for our fans, for our kids. Coach Miles has a fine team. Proud of them, but, you know, thrilled for our team and our fans.
Well, your defense was down 6 players. How would you describe what they were able to do?
More than that. Was over.
And how would you describe what they were able to do despite all those losses?
Guts, and to God be the glory. You know, he's been so good to us, and just the way that those young kids played. We had 3 true freshmen that had never played. They played a lot tonight, and they grew up a little bit.
Well, what impressed you most about this win, Coach?
Our guts and just our refusal to lay down after tough losses. You know, I'm really proud of our staff. The plan was great. Our kids really battled hard.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Andrew Ritter, the senior kicker, had never attempted a field goal in his college career prior to this year. Boy, was that worth the wait. In a sea of red, Guts